Hi everyone, Tams here. Happy New Year's Eve. In this video, I'm going to share how I use mind mapping to set my goals and resolutions. A few weeks ago, I shared how I'm using my Midori notebook as a bullet journal. And in there, I quickly shared this mind map and my monthly tracker. And I did have several people ask me how I used mind mapping to set goals and resolutions. And I'm going to quickly share with you for demonstration purposes. I'm going to use this big piece of paper just so I can write larger for the camera. A few words about mind mapping. Now, traditionally, the way the majority of us, at least in the Western world, take notes is we start up here in the upper left-hand corner and we write left to right, and we go from the top to the bottom of the page. And that's how, most of us were taught how to take notes or to write in general. And the thing about mind mapping is you kind of play with your mind a little bit more and open up your mind a little more. You start in the center with your main topic and you work outward, and you can use different colors. Now, some people say that this opens up into your right brain and does more left brain, right brain synchronization. I have no idea if that's true, but it sounds really good to me. And I enjoy this occasionally. It's just a different way to look at things and open up my mind. So our main thought for the year, of course, I always put the year in the center. Then I break my yearly goals up into 4 categories. So these are my 4 categories that I like to break things into. That's giving back, body and health, mind, spirit, and financial. Now, from each of these categories, I'm just going to start thinking about how I want my life to look in these particular areas. So traditionally, a lot of people this time of year say that in the new year they want to lose weight and they join a gym and all that sort of thing in their body health area. And that's very true. When we are at our ideal weight and health, we do feel good. And I know that, but there are certain things I just don't want to do and I don't want to spend my time on. I would rather get my fitness activity in by being outside. So I love getting outside. I love being in my garden. I love hiking. I love visiting state and local and national parks. So for this, I'm not going to say lose weight. I'm going to say what I enjoy doing that gives me some type of physical activity. So I would write down get outside. And then I think about how do I get outside? So that would mean like working in my garden, or it would mean visiting the parks I enjoy. Now, in this area too, what I have done over the years is I try to turn these ideas into measurable goals. So if I know I want to visit state, local, and national parks, I'm going to give myself a measurable goal, and that would be something like once a month, visit at least one state or local park to go hiking. And once a year, what I try to do is visit a national park. So this year, there's plans already being discussed to visit a particular national park, which is going to have a very challenging hike. And I'm very excited about this, but it means I'm going to have to train a little bit harder to reach the summit and take that beautiful picture and see that beautiful sight. So it means not only am I going to have to make sure I am getting physical activity and training for this, I am going to have to shed a little bit of weight. And I have to shed a little bit of weight as well because of some health reasons. So in addition to my physical activity, I will be on a more, stricter diet. And so I'm going to also put in an idea like healthier meals. Now, I know from experience that I don't do well on very strict diets or anything like that, but what does work for me is meal planning. And meal planning not only helps me in the body and health area, it helps me to stay on track with my budget. So you'll see that meal planning is not only going to show up in my body and health area, it's going to be over here in my financial area where my goal is to stay on budget. So stay and follow budget. A big part of this to keep me on budget is when I do meal plan. This is so important. It always works for me. So I'm going to put meal planning over here. All right. Now, staying in this same vein, this is me trying to feel better, body and health. So I'm trying to get outside more and eat healthier, which is tying into my financial because I'm trying to stay on budget, which means meal planning is going to be important there. The other thing that I like to do in terms of giving back is I am trying to incorporate like a more sustainable lifestyle. This is not something that I just like turn a switch on and off. This is something that has taken me a while to figure out and slowly incorporate into my life. And one of the ways I'm doing that is through my own personal yard and garden. If you followed me this past year, you may have picked up on the fact that I am transforming my complete backyard into a wildlife habitat, and I am certified now. And there are just things that I'm doing within my yard, practices that I'm doing to help me do that. Now, if you think again, so get outside, I'm also working in the garden to get the activity, but at the same time, I'm doing something toward my giving back. So for my giving back, I usually have a branch that says, so sustainable living, sustainable life, and then I have garden, and I'm trying to incorporate practices that use less water, having more natural area than grass. I'm planting things that nature, the birds usually come to the yard, butterflies, that kind of thing. Now, it's a small thing, but I think this type of thing makes a big impact over time, and that if everyone did a little bit of something like this, it could help. So, and it doesn't cost that much either. So again, that ties into my staying on budget. But you get the idea. So, I just work around this, and that was just one thought. The traditional thought of losing weight and getting in shape. Hopefully I've shown you how I can go around and start tying things in. So, now, how does this work into your daily tracker? Well, I set up a tracker for each month, and I haven't done January yet, but there are things that I like to try to do daily and try to do a couple times a month and try to do monthly or weekly. And so, for instance, the body health one is easy. I know I've got to drink more water. That's a given. I think most people have that. So drink 8 glasses of water a day. Try to do some type of fitness activity, 5 days a week. As far as visiting the parks, ideally what I'd like to do is hike once a week at one of the local areas, and then once a year visit a national park. That's the goal for this year. And then, following your budget, doing meal planning, that can be a daily or weekly thing. So those are the type of things I list each month and I keep track of, so I can get a quick glance and determine if I'm on goal. And you can do this for many ideas and just do little branches off of your mind map and just keep going and see how things start coming together for you. And I hope this was helpful. I wish you all a very happy new year and thank you so much for joining me. Bye.